Let's add 10 gym members in 4 weeks without paid advertising. A common frustration for many gym owners is not enough fresh prospects, or I like to call them freshies. And this can be frustrating because if we don't have enough leads, well, then we can't grow revenue, we can't impact more people, we can't create more income or more freedom. And then when we do get freshies, it takes time and effort to nurture the leads over time because once they know we exist, that's awesome, but ultimately they need to come to like and trust us before they're gonna hire us. Now, one awesome source of fresh leads, of course, is paid digital advertising. And while this is still a very useful tool, it's no secret that paid ads they're more expensive than they've ever been. Consumers are more wary even after they've opted in, so you have to work even harder than ever to follow up with people to get them to come in for some kind of trial or strategy session. So what you're looking for are more clients to grow your gym without having to do paid advertising and people that are ready to take some action in the near term to hire you and work with you. I shall now call to mind the biggest thinking mistake that you're making on this journey, and that is thinking that the solution to all your problems is fresh leads. Listen, by all means, we're gonna need a steady stream of leads. I've got a lot of awesome content. Check out the marketing playlist. But in today's video, I'm gonna give you 3 buckets to focus on to drive more members without necessarily having to get any more leads. But first, let me tell you a story about my pal, Rich. Rich is an awesome gym owner and really great guy, really great trainer. And before we started working together, he was averaging about 2 trials per month, which, as we can see, unfortunately, is not going to be enough to really move the ball forward in a material way. And in a 6-week period that included both Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's, so we're talking the last 6 weeks of the year, when a lot of gym owners are super struggle city, Rich sold 23 trials using a lot of the same strategies I'm going to be talking about today. So where will we find these clients if we're not getting new leads? Well, there is a famous story in business land called Acres of Diamonds that I think sums up nicely exactly what we're talking about. Acres of Diamonds tells the story of a farmer who was inspired hearing about a bunch of farmers discovering mines full of diamonds. So this farmer got super excited and he decided, well, I want to go out there and make my millions. So the farmer, enthused by this idea, sells his mines and he heads out to find his diamond mine. And unfortunately, he spent the rest of his life looking and failing to find his diamonds. He didn't seem to get as lucky as the other farmers, so he was tired, he was depressed, he threw himself into the river and drowned himself to death because he was so bereft. Meanwhile, the guy who bought his farm was wandering the property, taking in the beautiful pastoral landscape, and he noticed something gleaming in a small stream on the property. So he sees this shining artifact, he reaches down and he pulls out diamonds. Okay, this is painfully corny, I can't keep doing this anymore, but I think you get my point. Too often we ignore the acres of diamonds in our existing audience, and then we're always looking for the fresh new thing outside of our existing audience base. So here's a simple framework to think about this and some specific moves you can use. Because the reality is you already have people that know and like you. Now, I like to think of this in 5 big buckets. We have your former clients. These are people that have been a member at some point, but for any number of reasons are not currently working with you. We have unconverted trials or unconverted prospects. These are people that have actually come in, have tried out your services, but decided not to move forward and actually become a member. And then we have suspects. So suspects are leads that are not as qualified as prospects. They haven't shown quite the significant indicator of interest that the prospects have, and ultimately you'll decide how to splice that up. Now, if you're just getting started, you might not have a lot of either of those people, and that's perfectly cool too. So in your situation, you want to identify family and friends that you have the opportunity to keep in touch with about your fitness offerings. Now, to be clear, I'm not suggesting you're gonna hard sell your grandmama.
Grandma, buy my trial, grandma.
I don't give a shit.
But a lot of these individuals likely have people that they know that they could refer business to. And in fact, some of them could be good clients for you. And if you're offering a good service, there shouldn't be any ethical issue with selling your services to friends. In fact, not a lot of people appreciate this, but I think a lot of why MFF had the success that it did is because as an actor of middling success, I had done a ton of shows, so I just knew hundreds of people in New York City, and I wasn't shy about sending out some email newsletters right outside the gate so people knew what I had to offer, and that I think really helped spread the word out about MFF. My rule of thumb is this: if you would say hello to someone in a grocery store, they're someone someone that in theory you should at least consider communicating with on a regular basis about fitness information. And ideally, most of that is value building content, but of course, you'll also let them know if they're interested, what they might need to do if they want to work with you in a more substantial way. Now, the fifth bucket is sort of a shadow bucket. Shadow bucket. Your shadow bucket is referred contacts, which is to say that your members are obviously one step removed from a whole slew of people that might not even know you exist yet. So to be clear, that is certainly distinct from people that you already have their contact information for, but nonetheless, that is another bucket of people that you can make very specific offers to and try to get them on in. Let me just give you some high-level ideas of what you might do to use these audiences to get more clients without using paid ads. So the very first thing is if you do not have an email database that organizes all the people that you already have a relationship with, that's your first thing. You can just literally go through your phone, make a list of all the people. You can look through your email database and start to pull out anybody that is already a former client or an unconverted prospect, or somebody you just know that you don't think would be aggrieved if you contact them with either value building content, which we do want to do some of beyond the scope of today's video, or sending very specific, compelling, time-sensitive offers via email. A lot of people don't like to do this, and I understand this, but believe me, this is the first thing I have most gym owners do when I start to work with them, because if we haven't organized your contact database, well, gosh, that is the acres of diamonds. Don't go chasing waterfalls, TLC says. Look for your acres of diamonds. You already have them. They already know you. Talk to them. Now, the next thing we want to do is we want to create some kind of compelling offer to make to your audience. Listen, the full disclosure is I can't really get into the weeds here because this is a video and I don't really know you. I will tell you about a really cool resource though. If you go ahead and click the link below, I can send you an awesome resource that is a bunch of super compelling offers and promotions that you can run to each of these different buckets. So go ahead, click that link, put in your information, and then you come right back here. So now, once you have this list of potential offers, you just need to decide which one or two or maybe three you plan to run over the next few months. Now, you can decide based on how sophisticated your database is, how segmented it is, and also just how much bandwidth you have, whether you want to do an all-skate blast to everybody that's not a client, or you want to chunk it into finer gradations. Maybe there's a specific offer for former clients, and then maybe a different offer to people that have never been a member before. Now, at a high level, some just quick key considerations here for when you're doing this offer is you don't want it to be too short, you don't want it to be long. I like 10 to 14 days. And then finally, when you market it, send out multiple emails, post on organic social media. If it's a former client offer, maybe you're texting and sending out personal emails. Maybe you connect with a joint venture business partner to send out some promotion on your behalf to their list. When you market, you must market. Now, circling back to our existing clients, let's give a little bit more context for the referral offer. So as it happens, when you click the link in the description box below, you'll also see a list of different kinds of referral offers to test. I would note the thing that I see go wrong with referral offers most commonly is it's just not that good of an offer. It's not that compelling. Now, there's some research to suggest that if you are attempting to even ethically bribe your clients and say, all right,
If you get me a client for a year, I'll give you $50.
here's the thing. I think that's a nice thing to do. It's nice to say thanks. That's polite. But there's some research suggests that when you incentivize via cash monies, some of your clients will be made to feel like a whore. So there are a lot of different approaches. And again, you'll find them in that guide here. But I would say this, it doesn't necessarily need to be get me a new member and I'll give you cash. You can incentivize leads. You can incentivize trials. You can give away value ads. You can give away all sorts of other things as a fun incentive and make a game out of it that doesn't feel quite as quid pro quo. Latin. And a final pro tip there, same as marketing a promotional offer to your list. When you are marketing your referral offer, market it. That's kind of hard to say. Market it, market it. You're gonna market well. You really want to get the word out. So another con mishap here with referral offers is the same thing as promotions. You can't do a email and expect that's going to meaningfully move the ball forward. We're going to need to do several emails. And because these are for your members, you can also do announcements in classes and sessions. You can post if you have private Facebook communities. You can put physical flyers up with QR codes in your facility. You have to market. All right, friends. Well, I hope you found this valuable. Now, as a reminder, if you don't want to do the hard work of thinking through all these time-sensitive promotions, just go ahead, click the link in the description box below, and you'll get access to a big ol' list of a bunch of different kinds of offers perfectly suited for different types of gyms with different types of service offerings. Because remember, you have acres of diamonds. And in fact, because I know sometimes it can be overwhelming, you're not really sure where to start, reminder, the very first thing you're gonna do here, if you just do this, is schedule 30 to 60 minutes on your calendar. If you move super slow and you know a million people, well, maybe do 2 different hour-long appointments with yourself, put them in your calendar, and really take the time to organize your email database if you haven't done that already. And even if you already have something in the email database, but you haven't actually added in everyone you know that might be a referral source or a client, then that's a good opportunity for you too, yeah? And in closing, if you're interested in finding out how Business for Unicorns works with gym owners just like you and helps them create more income and more impact and more freedom, just like our pal Rich, go ahead, click the link below and find out more about the Unicorn Society. And while you're down there, you'll find us on a ton of other platforms where you can subscribe to our podcast, you can subscribe to this YouTube, and follow us on the old Instagram. Until our next video, thanks as always for checking us out. I'll see you next time where I shall share more actionable tips, psychological frameworks, and philosophy.